download it and get to it without you having to.
We're recording.
We're recording. Holy shit! This is the first one.
Welcome to Conscious Guys Get Laid More.
Yeah, our intent is to prove that to be true.
It's still questionable. Still questionable. Oh my gosh, are we already pausing on that?
No, we're not pausing at all. There's no dead air in this podcast whatsoever.
Because we were nonstop talking before we pushed record.
We're still figuring it out. So this is the figuring it all out episode.
Yeah. So how often should we have this thing?
You want to go weekly?
Daily?
Daily.
Weekly. Ooh. I think weekly is a great idea.
Weekly?
Should we just do Friday afternoons?
Friday afternoons. Sounds great to me.
Sounds fantastic to me.
Okay, that's one down. We nailed it. I think we should stop while we're ahead.
See you next Friday.
Baby steps, right? One step at a time.
Feel accomplished.
Oh my goodness.
All right, cool.
I guess that shows how long we last too. But
yeah, but we're also quite fulfilled pretty easily.
2 minutes is better than 1 minute.
Do we have a theme? Oh, I liked your theme song idea, but it was a little provocative.
It was very provocative, yes.
What was the theme song again?
Till It Gets Wet.
Till It Gets Wet by Slightly Stupid. Go check it out.
Go check it out.
There's our promo.
It's the best.
Guys, if we keep going for another 2.5 hours, we may have Cameron on with us.
That'd be badass. Yeah.
That'd be bass. Mm-hmm. See what I can do. Don't wait for me. I'll text you when we leave here. When I leave here. Fantastic.
Our first guest on our first episode when we're trying to figure it all out.
Fantastic.
Oh shit. Okay.
Cool. What else should we talk about? Oh yeah. When's the last time you got late? Mine was 7 weeks ago. I don't remember the exact date, but it was definitely before Grace. Grace is now 7 weeks and 1 day.
Damn, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, she's probably over 12 pounds now.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's just growing like crazy.
8'9", down to 8'2", and then back up to 12 plus.
Do you weigh her like every day?
No, but we went to the midwives weighed her when she was born, and then I think there was a 1 day follow up, and then like a 4 day follow up, and then like a 1 week, and then like a 4 week, and whatever. So they weighed her then, and then we had one pediatrician thing.
Are there like rules and regulations or metrics on where your baby should be at a certain point in time based on weight and stuff?
Yeah, they go through they come out and they're all waterlogged.
So they're gonna dry out a little bit.
And so then they
dehydrate.
They get down to like their regular hydration because they're hypohydrated. And then so they drop within like 24 hours. And that's when like people get freaked out if you don't know that, but they talk about it.
Oh,
it's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. And then they gain their weight back, and then they keep going. And right now she's getting chubs.
Yeah,
her rolls are the cutest, but they're actually really annoying, to be honest, because
cleaning that
shit gets in there, and you do like a wipe. And you think you're done, and then later you like roll the roll and
dribbles out,
and then you're like, oh, there's chunks in there, and then you question your parenting abilities. Can't even keep my daughter clean. It's not even like running around. So yeah, they do. They go through. They drop and then they go up. So she's gained like 4, maybe not 4. Yeah, something like 4 pounds. Which is gaining like 50% of her body weight. Could you imagine if in 7 weeks you added 50% of your body weight? How much do you weigh right now?
230.
Holy shit.
235, actually.
Yeah, you're enormous. How tall are you? 6'4"?
6'5".
6'5".
Mm-hmm.
You're 230 what?
235. What's
your ideal weight?
215.
That's when you look like a chiseled god, a Viking.
That's when I feel like I'm normal.
So what are you now?
I'm a little fat. I feel it in my cheeks, and I feel it when I put my pants on.
You feel it in your cheeks, huh?
Yeah.
Like under your eye cheeks? Because the rest of your cheeks are filled in with some gray hairs and calico.
It's right here. These get These are naturally kind of,
Poofs.
yeah, but then.
Do you think that's your Viking culture? Are you a Viking?
I have some Swedish blood.
Okay.
German and Irish and something else. I guess as any American, I've got Native American somewhere in there.
Yes, right.
That's right. Everybody has to, right?
Right. I have some.
Yeah.
That's not what 23andMe told me, but I have some. That's what my family told me.
Nice. Yeah.
So do you think the Swede in you has
high cheekbones?
High cheekbones?
It's quite possible. Yeah. Yeah, it's from my dad's side for sure.
Is he the Swede?
Yeah, my grandma, his mom.
What generation American are you?
Oh shit, I don't know. Like the Schausses have been around for a while. There was a company town back east, like on one of the rivers through Pennsylvania.
What's a company town?
It's where a company comes in and then hires you, but then sells you everything. So everything you make goes back to the company.
So this is like legal slavery?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Some bastards in my history, I think.
And these were you.
This was me. This is my people. So when Alex says your people, it's kind of true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you had a what is it called? City town?
Company town.
Company town?
Yeah.
But where's the inheritance on that thing?
Oh, I don't know. They were kind of prolific. They moved into like Kansas and so like there's nothing to do in Kansas except dodge tornadoes and have sex apparently. So I don't know. I don't know. Got lots of cousins that I've never met.
Right.
Distantly removed.
Oh man.
It's a little interesting.
How crazy would it be if somebody, one of your relatives died and all of a sudden you became like this enormous landowner? Like, hey, you own 100,000 acres in Kansas.
Dude, we would totally set up a huge retreat center.
Just a commune?
Fuck, that'd be badass.
That's what Cassie wants. She's looking, but she wants to like build it from the ground up. It just takes so much effort and so much money.
Mm-hmm.
She also wants to be minimalist. Like live off the land. That's tough, man. That's tough.
It is.
But I did figure out on that. Essentially what you'd have to do is you have to figure out anything for setting up a town in the middle of nowhere, a commune, and we're going to live off of whatever we made ourselves. That can't be everything, right? You're still going to need to bring in something. So what are all those things that you need to bring in, and you essentially just budget for that? So we need to bring in electricity. We're going to bring in electricity. We need to bring in water and irrigation, right, and sewage. We need to bring in clothes, and we need to bring in that. And you just have to essentially make your budget for that whole thing. And then whatever the community can create, you'd have to be able to sell that for the expense of whatever those resources are that you need in. Which really says that you've got to be farmers.
You got to be Amish people.
Yeah.
You got to make trinkets and wagons and horseshoe things.
But there's nobody going up against the Amish.
Because why would you?
They're woodworkers. They know what they're doing.
They've got it down. You know, woodworking is amazing. I love it. I like doing it. I'm not a master at it by any means, but it's fun to look at and I can appreciate it. And there's this place in San Francisco that's some Japanese garden. I can't remember the names of it, but these Japanese workers came over, I don't know, 100 years ago or however long ago it was, and spent months and months here building this little structure with nothing but like a couple of chisels and a hammer and put all this wood together. And the joints are so tight and it's just incredibly beautiful. And it's just a skill that I don't think very many people care about or can appreciate. Like the vision to create something like that and how it fits together that specifically and perfectly. Isn't it
in a lot of, maybe it's all East Asian countries, their architecture, they didn't create nails. So it's all tongue and joint and tooth and whatever they're called. I don't know. What's the term?
There's mortises and there's other, I don't even know.
Tooth.
What?
What do you call it what do you call like, when you put your floorboards in, it's a
tongue and groove.
Tongue and groove.
It's a tongue and a groove. It kind of like sex.
Is there a teeth involved in something? Is that a terminology, or am I making that up?
There's rabbits, and then there's
it's about teeth.
I know. I'm trying to think of what there is and whether or not a tooth plays into it. Rabbit have teeth, but
I think that's how my mind works. I think I don't remember exactly what I want to, and I'm like, it has something to do with the mouth, and I say teeth, but what I actually mean is tongue and groove.
I think so.
Do you think most people think like that?
It's just you.
Oh, man.
Whenever somebody says that now, ever since I've been part of productive learning, I'm like, you're just feeling insecure right now, and I love you.
You're sentimental.
I do. I've been super sentimental lately.
Oh, we forgot to get the microphones.
We did. I hope the sound quality is good on your computer, because if it's not and we have to redo this, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, you can hear me on Zoom normally, right?
I really don't like redoing work.
Well,
sometimes I can.
We'll just do session 2.
Okay. What would be really funny is that because you're almost in front of it, all of what you're saying is being captured, but none of what I'm saying is being captured.
Is that your insecurity?
It's so my insecurity.
Oh, I love you.
Dude, did I tell you what my word is for 2021?
Family.
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
Yeah, somebody else's word is family.
Yeah, that's why I thought of it.
Oh.
I remember what it is.
Oh, David.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, this is our coworker.
Uh-oh.
We're still at work hours right now.
We're working.
Maybe I should call her.
I don't know. Does she want to be on the podcast?
Yeah.
Does she need to sign a waiver?
Hey, Marcella, you're on Andy and I's Conscious Guys Get Laid More podcast right now, just so you know.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What's your question?
It was just wanting to chat through with you about the 401k stuff you asked me. But that can absolutely wait.
Don't pay anybody. That's what we should do. No.
Yeah. Wow.
We can figure it out later. Shit, that was on there.
Well, I apologize for interrupting.
No. All right. Talk to you. I'll call
Continue
you.
on.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
How's our first guest, Marcella?
Wow, that's cool.
Guys, Marcella Flores is an outstanding, because that's the word of the year,
operations administrator for productive learning. Yeah.
She's doing great. She's got a cute kid too. Actually, I haven't seen him in person.
Benjamin.
Yeah, but I haven't.
Karen met Benjamin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they dropped off the cool logoed shirt at my house. I wasn't home. Karen was.
Nice.
It was neat.
Nice. Yeah, he looks really cute. They did a anyway, they're really cute. What were we talking about? Your family was slave owners, and then we're talking about Japanese people, and then
mind works and being sentimental.
Yeah, why are you sentimental? Why is the word of the year outstanding?
Oh, outstanding. That's right. So last year it was vibrant, and
really, I didn't know that. Did you talk about it?
I talked about it in the year long, I think.
I'm not in that one.
Yeah, you're not.
Vibrant. Do you think you succeeded in being vibrant?
I think so, because what I was focusing on was my internal connection to my core beliefs, and having that become vibrant and a light for myself and others. And it worked out pretty well.
Nice.
I got my 3 words: love, patience, and creativity.
Those are values.
Those are core values, and what I work to embody as I show up in the world.
Love, patience, and creativity.
Creation. Yeah.
Creation.
Yeah.
Patience. Why patience?
I've been told that I am incredibly patient at times, and then I find myself being incredibly impatient at other times.
Yeah, in the car, you're very impatient.
Yeah. I'm a total asshole in the
car. You got rage, man.
I'm going to therapy for that, man.
You really express it. You started going to therapy because of your car driving.
I did.
So
it's been 3 years almost.
Still working on it. I'm making the therapist a boatload, but so other people think you're patient. Do you think you're patient?
At times I am incredibly patient. Yeah.
Are there things that you're patient about and other things that you're not patient about? Or like, why are you patient and why are you not? When are you and when are you not?
I can be very patient when I'm sentimental. I can be very patient when I am in touch with a compassionate, loving, caring space for allowing others to be. When I'm impatient is when I need the world and other people to be different. And so that's what I'm working on this year. It's fine tuning that.
Being patient or finding the love for other people and therefore being patient.
Yeah, that'll be the result of working on my awareness around and shifting out of needing other people to be different than they are. You're going to benefit a great deal from this one.
Any improvement that you do, I benefit from. Especially every Friday here at Conscious Guys Get Laid More.
That's right.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
So outstanding this year.
Yeah, why that one?
Is about now that I've identified who I'm becoming and what I'm embodying, I want to stand out. Standing out is a big risk for me.
Oh.
Because there's a Japanese proverb about the nail that sticks out gets hammered down.
But they don't have nails.
They don't. That's why. No, I don't know why. But
are you sure it's a Japanese proverb?
Maybe it's Chinese. I feel really shitty if I get it wrong. But there's a proverb from somewhere
on the world
that says that. And that's kind of how I live my life, is just this dynamic tension between wanting to be seen and heard and understood and stand out and be loved by people in my life and the world, and then hiding, because when I do stand out or when I have stood out, I've been ridiculed or gotten in trouble or whatever, however I've related to it before. So this podcast specifically is my risky move for taking a step towards standing out.
When did you come up with the idea of outstanding? Was that like the end of last year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just, I was considering it because, Lisa Pepper II does that New Year word thing, right? She'll paint your word or write it out. And so last year I did Vibrant. This year I was like, what would my word be? And it came up in my Facebook feed and I'm like, oh. And so I gave it a little thought and all I can think of is outstanding. So.
And you're using it in a way of standing out.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's why you pushed for this podcast so much.
I did.
Which is great. I was super stoked that you were into it.
Yeah.
Now I know that you're into it for yourself, not for me.
Dude, it's a win-win.
Because I very self-centeredly thought you were doing it for me.
I want it for you as well.
Oh, you want me to be outstanding?
I want you to shine. I think you've got some incredible things to offer the world, and you're hiding your light under a bushel.
Bushel. It's interesting that you say that right after that little monologue right before that said you don't want to shake other people.
Exactly. I told you would benefit.
Yeah. Huh. That's so strange, right? Because doesn't this sentiment that you just said about me feels like, oh, that's good, that's nice, that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't want something like that to have their friend shine underneath the bushel that they're under?
Yeah.
But it's the same. Essentially, it has the same core intent as the other one of, fuck this driver different on the road and they need to be different. Yeah. These outside people need to be different.
Yeah.
But it's still coming from that same intent of I want them to be different.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard thing to reconcile.
It's a hard thing to reconcile, and I think part of what is fun is playing with it and being called on it. Like right now, like you have a choice. You've always had your own choice on whether or not this would be what you want to do, whether I want it for you or not. And where my persistence and things come from. Like I have a want for you, I have a want for myself. I think we're aligned there, and when that comes together in any relationship, it can be beautiful.
Interesting. Yeah, cool.
But like if you kept saying no, I'd been like, well, fuck you. Okay.
Right.
And I'd have found someone else to do the podcast with because I don't want to do it by myself.
Because you need to stand out, or you need to be outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Oh, that's cool. All right. Good word. Good word.
Do you have a word for the year?
I hadn't come up with a word for the year. If I had to come up with a word for the year, what would it be? Well, I'm not coming up with a word just yet, so I'm coming up with more of a thought or an idea about it. But I have this desire this year to set things up to then go from there. I think like me being a new dad, which is its own thing, me being a new version of a husband, because now Cassie, my wife, and I have just a different dynamic because there's somebody else here now. Our business is doing all kinds of new things. It is not the business of what it was in 2019 and before, right?
No.
But we're setting it up with an attempt to create it for the 21st century and on, right? Kind of idea. So I have this feeling of like setting it up, creating a foundation that has clear boundaries wouldn't be the right thing, because I think everything is it flows back and forth. It kind of just goes back and forth a little bit. So the boundary, it's not like there's a hard boundary, but there's some kind of clarity with definition. I don't know exactly how I think on what that feeling is that I'm trying to put together. But there's like a balance. So for example, I did my first Facebook Live the other week, which was not a Facebook Live, which was a Facebook chat thing. I don't know what it was. Yeah. Anyway,
automatic guess. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. That was cool. But Luana was on, and Angie was on too. But what I was talking about on there was this feeling of like my life is this balance, like a mobile, right? I have mobiles because I got a baby in my mind.
Oh, okay.
Like those hanging ones.
The hanging ones.
Like the ones that Mark makes for Christmas with all of his cool ornaments, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And it's balanced, and as much as they kind of like wobble a little bit, it's balanced, right? And then Grace comes in and essentially just you put one little weight on one of, or create a new branch, and it makes everything go whoosh and just totally out of whack. And it has this feeling of like, I want it to get back to some kind of level, as level as life will be, right? There'll always be ups and downs and shifts and changes and new things added. But that one felt very much like a very fast, as much as we knew for 10 months that she's pregnant and we're having a kid in November, December, it's still like it flipped on a dime. So my word for the year would be that. Yeah, whatever whatever I just described is. Like foundation, but I don't like the word foundation. It doesn't sit right on this one.
Doesn't sit right. Is it not enough? Is it
like, and balance doesn't do it either. But it's I don't know, it's this idea of mobile. Is it mobile? Am I saying that right?
Like Alabama.
Mobile?
Mobile, I think is right.
It is? Mobile. It's the same as mobile, right?
It's spelled the same, yeah.
But you pronounce it differently?
Mobile, I think so.
So that's what it is. So I don't know what that is. It's like an ebb and flow of with it, finding the natural ebb and flow of a new balance foundation.
So is that something for you? Something that you're creating? Is it an achievement?
That feels like something I'm creating.
You're creating that. What is it going to call forth from you to create?
Oh.
It's going to be more than just the tip, I think.
Just one knuckle. What is that going to call forth from me to create that ebb and flow of a new foundation mobile? I think it's going to call forth from me. I'm going to have to challenge myself in what I think and what I believe. Like, I think I have this idea in my mind of what balanced the mobile before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's this much work, and it's this much exercise, and it's this much social life, and it's this much Cassie, and it's this much sex, and it's this much blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it could be totally different. They all could be different.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because I have this, I can tell that my first inclination is to say, well, I already had all those, so those are not variables anymore. Those are known factors. So we'll put that into the side of the equations that we already know. And then we need to add like the one more, the new version of the business and grace. So there's only two things that we don't know, but I have a feeling like it's more like, no, I don't know anything.
Mm.
And challenging all of those knowns, I think will set me up to have to achieve, if I can be that way and challenge myself, which is uncomfortable because I don't like to feel like I don't know anything.
I didn't know that about you.
If I can be that way, then I think I can create that thing. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's cool. This is reminding me of a book that I almost read, but I saw that the guy did a TED Talk. He's a French guy that did a tightrope walk between the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
And the book is called Creativity. And it's like his take is a bit of a rogue, just go for it and do whatever. And like creativity comes from not holding on to what you think you know. And it just sounds exactly like what you're stepping into. That's neat.
Maybe I should read the book.
Or listen to the podcast.
SparkNotes version. That's good.
Have the book if you want to borrow it. I fully intended to read it.
Because you're not going to read it.
Probably not. It's a hardcover too.
So wait, so say what? So his thought is what? Is you just go out and do it, and as you're doing it, the creativity comes forth.
Mm-hmm. Like he planned a whole bunch of stuff, but at some point there's a letting go of everything that you know, and then you're just doing, because you can't plan for all of it.
Right.
So the timing of that was the weather was supposed to be one thing, the security was supposed to be something else, and then the moment was closing, and he had to make a choice right then and there to do or not do, right? Mm-hmm. And regardless of all of the planning, there was the moment of creation for him. Mm-hmm. And so he has a philosophy that's kind of built out of that experience, and it's pretty neat. And I wish I could recite it to you, but I can't.
I feel the same way about, there's a quote that would go perfect right here, but just like my tongue and teeth thing, butcher the hell out of it. I think it's a Napoleon one. It's a military one. It's something about like you create the best of plans, and then once the first fire is shot, you just go to war.
Yeah.
You just do it.
The plan is abandoned.
The plan's abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really good quotes.
That would fit perfectly right here.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know the quote that I'm talking about?
I got the feel of it.
You got the feel of
I
it.
do.
That's all that matters.
That's it.
I'm all about the general intent of things. Specifics, that's what I leave to you.
You ooze general intent.
There's just like a blob moving slowly in this general direction. Is there any definition to them? No, it's just got this general cloud.
Mostly because you don't like the word foundation, I think.
I know. Maybe, is that it? Is that what it was?
I love how you went from foundation to mobile, because the mobile is actually suspended from the air rather than built on solid footing.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. Every time you or I say mobile, I feel like we're saying it wrong. It sounds like such a weird word. I think that's why
Can you ask Siri how to pronounce
Hey Siri,
mobile?
How do you say mobile?
Sure, translate into which language?
English.
German.
English.
Spanish.
English.
French.
English.
Italian.
Shut up! Hey Siri, how do you say mobile in English? Oh my gosh,
it's not going to happen.
You're dumb.
All right. So, do you think Siri gets more respect than Alexa?
Yeah, it seems like it seems like Siri is the Kleenex of voice command.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, do you want a Kleenex, even though it's just a regular tissue?
Yeah,
I think so. Do you have an Alexa? Or do you have Siri? Do you have anything?
Yeah, we bought an Alexa, whatever it's called, we got the Ring thing so that we could see who's at the door and answer the door. We never use it. It's hilarious. But
what do you mean you don't use it?
I don't use it.
Oh, so if somebody rings, you just go walk down and...
I do it anyway. Like, nobody comes to my house anyway. So
you don't look at all the, like, slips and falls and...
Oh, fuck no.
Like you could submit those things. You could be viral if you did it. You're not that lucky.
I'm not that... What? I don't know. Apparently not.
Okay, so because you got the Amazon Ring, you got an Amazon Alexa?
Yeah.
Or the Amazon thing, whatever?
Yeah. And for the first several months, we tried to, set it up. So, Alexa, play our podcast, or Alexa, like, tell me what time it is, or Alexa, play this song, Alexa, skip. Right. It will always hear my voice and never hear Karen's voice.
Oh.
And so what happens is Karen...
Nobody's listening to me!
Karen will sit on the couch and she'll say, Alexa, skip. And then it goes from Alexa, skip to Alexa, skip in like 2 seconds, and it still doesn't hear her because whatever. And then I just say it from the back room, Alexa, skip. And it skips, and she gets even more infuriated.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Cassie and I have a Google Home.
Yeah.
Just a little small one, a little donut-sized one. And then, that's all we have.
Mm-hmm.
But that one's just in our kitchen. For some reason, Cassie likes to listen to music on that speaker, as opposed to our like sound system that's in the living room, which you can hear the living room and the kitchen, same place. So I don't know either. But she typically asks Google. I'm always asking Siri.
I don't know. I don't ask Alexa anything. She's just dumb. And I hear it, like, somebody had one on a Zoom call, and it was the same thing. Like, she said something once and then she had to say it again really loud, and it's just rude, right? We went and visited Karen's family. They had one, and it was like, Alexa, skip. And it like replays the song, and they're just like, what the fuck's going on? I don't know. I feel bad for Alexa sometimes.
For Alexa?
Yeah, I do.
But not your wife.
She's got a thing about not being heard or listened to. So
you just want to poke that bear?
Sometimes. Not right now, but...
Is that why you're not getting laid a lot?
Probably.
Probably.
Maybe if I was a little more conscious of her feelings.
Sometimes righteousness feels so good.
Oh my God.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Dude. Work on it. No, just ignore it.
Just be outstanding.
Just outstanding.
Just be outstanding. My wife just texted me.
Shit, are we being too loud?
Oh, she's sending a picture of Grace.
Oh, sweet.
Just sleeping.
Oh,
just sleeping like a little babe.
Nice. So is this her new hair, or is this still the old hair falling out?
No, I think her hair's starting to grow back in.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Super cute.
She had a balding pattern, whatever you call it. Kind of similar to yours.
yeah. Just complete.
Just made a really big forehead that went back really like to 5 and 6 or so.
Forehead you can see from behind yourself.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Did you just make that up? Or is that a thing? You just made that up?
Yeah.
Damn, that was good. A forehead you can see from behind yourself. That's really funny. Yeah, she's growing her hair back, which is really cool. But she's got weird eye goatee stuff, but it's only in one eye. It's really sad when she sleeps. I think it's just kind of like
gets crusty.
It gets crusty, and then she can't open that eye. So her other eye gets open, and then she's like wiggling around, just doing whatever, just like a little fucking pirate. It's very cute, but it's also it's really funny, but it's also sad. So, but we just use hot washcloth and just open that thing up.
Nice.
And you know what is the craziest thing?
No.
So do you remember in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the Greek dad used Windex on everything? Everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the steak's bad, you squirt it with Windex. You got to cut, you squirt it with Windex, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing with breast milk.
Oh.
You can put breast milk on anything and it like repairs immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. Like Cassie squirts her in the eye.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right in the eye. And Grace doesn't flinch. Wide eye, drops of breast milk in the eye, and she doesn't even like close her eyes. It just like absorbs in and around it. And you're like, what the heck?
Wow.
It's crazy. It's so weird too.
That is weird.
I would think that it's a natural reaction to like close your eye to an incoming object. Just like when people try to do eye drops.
Yeah.
Even when they're intentionally putting an eye drop in there, people's eyes automatically close once the drop goes in. Grace's eyes stay open. It is the strangest thing. But anyway, so you freaking squirt some breast milk in there, and like 6 hours later, it's cleared up.
Wow. Okay.
And then she had like baby acne, which I guess is a very normal thing because their skin is not used to air and their pores are not used to expressing, oils and everything.
Okay.
They didn't have to do that in utero, right?
Mm-hmm. And
so they get clogged, and then they're figuring out all the dynamics of life outside of the uterus. And and you squirt some breast milk on there. I'm like, the next day gone. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Magic elixir.
I know. We should just
bottle that shit and
sell it. Conscious guys breast milk. We could do it in like a spray. If you wanted to grow your hair back,
that's all it would take.
Cuts and bruises, we could take on Neosporin, just straight head on, take market share.
Yeah.
Who needs Neosporin? Try some breast milk.
That's all it is.
We'll make sure that it's from like across the world, so it's like it can be used for any kind of person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just all kind of concocted and mixed up, and
could be good. Isn't that crazy that breast milk can do that?
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. It's wild. Got antibodies in it and all kinds of good nutrients.
That's got to be the best thing in the world, then.
What I mean, it truly is life-giving. It is the only thing that Grace has ever put in her body.
Yeah.
And will be for until you feed them solid food, which is something like 6 months or something. Isn't that crazy? That's the only thing. Thirsty? Breast milk. Hungry? Breast milk. Get a cut? Breast milk. Eye goop? Breast milk.
Wow.
Acne? Breast milk. Pretty weird.
Probably explains a lot of fascination with breasts.
Yeah, because they gave us everything.
Yeah.
It is super cool to watch how Grace Grace's comfort with being close to Cassie is like instantaneous. Like when Cassie is breastfeeding or she doesn't have a top on or something and she just holds her up against her breast, like there is you can just tell like everything is good.
Wow.
Like, that's where her body goes to. Or I can hold her and it like she still calms down, but it's more like, okay, my surroundings, I'm good. There's like Cassie's smell or her touch or whatever it is. It's like there is a bond that is instinctual with mom. It's super cool. It's super cool. I'm a little jealous of it because there's definitely a bond that she has that I don't have. Such is the way.
Way to go, Dad.
Such is the way of the Mandalorian. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's really fun to watch.
Huh.
It's fun to watch Cassie's motherly instincts also come out. Because Cassie's always been super good with kids. She's always been super good. The reason I think she's good with kids is because she doesn't treat them like kids. She treats them like a normal person, but just I'm going to simplify how I think so I can make sure to think so that I'm not, like intimidating you or something.
Yeah. The bar is pretty low there. Like, well, to connect. I mean, like at that level or whatever level a kid is at, like you got to dumb it down. Like when we were playing that game, right? Like we were playing it. I don't want to take the story.
No, take it. I want to hear.
So we were playing a game like when we were doing game nights, and we were doing some thing where we had to come up with the same answers on the thing, right? And I'm like, just dumb it down a little bit.
Oh, right? you get a word and you had to come up with
the same.
See if you could get as many words that were the same.
Yeah,
got it right. I remember that.
And so I said, just dumb it down a little bit, right? So that we could be at a similar level. Because I think both of us were trying to be
too complex about it.
Yeah. And so that connection, just instantaneous, we nailed it. Like 6 out of 6.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I meant by that. Fuck yeah, that was a really amazing moment in my life.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've never had that connection with another human being, like outside of my brother before. Like that was pretty fucking awesome.
I'm taking on Geoff.
I don't know, dude. I think he could beat your ass, but
probably.
Yeah.
He's a doctor too.
Yes, he is.
So he's smarter than me and probably more physically robust than me.
He's definitely more physically robust than you. I mean, just look at me and then just imagine maybe 4 or 5 inches shorter.
You're a Swedish Viking god.
It's the beard. It's all in the beard.
If you cut your beard, do you think your sex appeal would go down? Yeah, I already know the answer to that. Stupid question.
Considering Karen has told me never to shave, and then like daily she goes, "No, I don't think that'll work."
Does she really?
She does.
You have a butt chin, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
No, Jeff does though.
Oh, does?
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Geoff.
That's a sign of a lot of testosterone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like an enormous amount of testosterone at the point when it was made, I guess.
Really?
That's what I hear.
Hmm.
We could ask Siri or Google or.
Hey Siri, why do men have butt chins?
Okay, I found this on the web for why do men have butt chins. Check it out.
Nice. Technically, it's called a cleft chin.
Cleft chin, yeah. Okay.
Cleft chin. Cleft chin comes in a variety of shapes, including vertical furrows, Y-shaped furrows, and round dimples. Conclusion. Many people have chins that are intermediate between clearly cleft and clearly smooth, and the family studies do not fit the myth that cleft chin is caused by a dominant allele. You should not use cleft chin to demonstrate basic genetics. Oh, didn't say anything about it.
Okay.
Means it's not familial.
Not familial. Something in the body's chemistry. Okay.
So we were just talking about Jeff and his cleft chin and his ability to kill me, and we had game night because we dumbed it down. Oh, yes, because Cassie. So Cassie talks to little kids just like they're little people.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, you're falling over, oh my God. Like none of that.
Yeah.
We have some friends that do that, and I get so annoyed.
At that point, I think the baby has to dumb down to get to that level, right?
Yeah,
that's just lame.
I think like playing with James and Eloise, my niece and nephew. Like, I'm gonna tell them like that's a stupid idea. I don't want to play that, and they're like, okay, let's go do this then. Like they just like I'm gonna tell them what I think it is, and then I think that's awesome, dude. How did you do that? And we're gonna talk about it instead of like talking to them like a kid, the stereotype of talking to them like a kid, like, oh my gosh, you did such a good job. No.
Yeah, I don't like being talked to like that during sex either. That's lame.
Oh, you don't want to. Do you guys get into role play?
A little bit.
Oh, like costumes and stuff, or more like just a persona of some kind. How much are you allowed to divulge right now?
Probably persona stuff. Costumes. I'm trying to think if toys represent costumes.
No, those are different.
Those are different.
Toys. Okay,
Yeah.
Toys.
Yeah.
But no costumes.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. I know what I'm getting you guys. For your anniversary. Love nice. Uncle Lyndon.
Dude, it was the best thing ever. Karen took me to a sex shop. I think that was I don't know that it was the first time I've been to a sex shop, but it was the first time I enjoyed going to a sex shop. It's fucking awesome. It was really great.
She took you to one?
Yeah.
And it was like, you get to pick what anything you want, and we'll do it.
I was so freaked out. Like I had big, huge eyes, like deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
And she just kind of like guided me around the store, and the people that work there come up and try and say, hey, do you have any questions? And I'm like,
Karen, do we have any questions?
Why
is Karen so comfortable in sex stores?
Dude, I don't know, but she's a badass.
Really?
It's fucking awesome. Like she's all, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'm like stone faced and just looking at things, and she's all, oh, you like this one? And I'm like, how can you tell? And she's all, well, your pupils get really big. And I'm all, nice.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Fucking awesome.
I don't know if I've ever like looked into your pupils to see how like excited you were about something.
No, you don't.
No, I know. Hey, what do you think about this business idea?
I don't know.
He likes it.
I don't know if it works all the way across the board, but yeah, that's funny.
Okay, hold on. I think we went to another tangent.
We did.
Based off of Cassie talks with kids really well. But why did we go to Cassie talks with kids really well? That was a tangent off of.
You were jealous of her connection, and you think she's always had a good connection with kids.
Yes. Oh no, her instincts, her motivating instincts. Yeah, she's always had a really good ability to connect with little kids of any age. At least that's what I've seen. But then there's a difference that's coming out in her motherly instinct, like her ability to hear the different cries and what they mean. Like I'm starting to a little bit, but she's like on it. Like, oh nope, that's hunger. Oh nope, that's a dirty diaper. Oh nope, she's tired, and just knows it. And then the other one is, what was I going to say? She talks to Grace, which may just because she's a really talkative person. Like, if Grace cries, I notice myself, like I'll pick her up and I'll go over to the changing table and I'll change her, and then I'll put her diaper back on, I'll put her clothes back on, and then I come back out into the living room and didn't say a word.
Yeah.
And it doesn't occur to me to say anything. I look into her eyes. We're having this intimate moment, but I am not verbally communicating anything to her. And Cassie like picks her up. Oh, do you have a poopy diaper? Okay. What did you do today? Oh yeah, you went with your dad around the block. Oh cool. Oh wow, this is a really dirty diaper. Wow. Let me clean. Is that cold? Okay, here we go. And just like talking through it. And I don't think she is trying. I think it's just naturally coming out.
Yeah, that's just her.
That is probably just her. That's because, you know what? That is totally her, because I am such a quiet guy. I'm such a quiet guy.
You are. I was surprised when you said yes to the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when remember when Cassie used to go up to Northern California a bunch? So, and then especially, used to be, she would be gone for like 10, 12 days out of the month. But that's when I was just living when it was just her and I. But then when we got Winston, whatever, a year and a half ago, when she would still go up to Northern California. It wasn't as frequent, but it would still be 2-day weekends or 3-day weekends or whatnot. And I would like just not talk, even with Winston. There wouldn't be command, like besides commands of like come here or eat or like let's go to the park or whatever or get your ball kind of thing. There wasn't like talking, and I would notice like I would go an entire day with probably saying 50 words.
Wow!
And it only occurred to me after like I don't remember how many weekends that I was alone, and I was like, wow, I don't have a need to talk. I feel like I should talk more. That's what it felt like. It felt like I'm strange for not talking it as much, and I could be so quiet and silent.
What is your take on the whole introvert extrovert scale and things?
I think it's become bastardized.
Oh, okay.
I think that there's a good concept behind it, but I don't think people really understand what it means. From what I understand, from my knowledge of it, is an introvert and an extrovert is where somebody goes and gains and recharges their batteries. So me being an introvert, it helps me to go be away for a moment and kind of collect myself and then go back into doing whatever. And if that's on my own, if that's with one-on-one, if that's in a big group, whatever. But it's me going and gaining, recharging. And I'm more introverted that way, whereas Cassie is extroverted, where she actually gets juiced up when she's in and around people. One person, a whole party of people or whatever. That's not to say that there's times when she wants to be alone because she wants to recharge that way. And there's times, not to say that there's times when I want to be with people,
right?
And I get happy and excited there, but there's like a more of a natural tendency that way.
Yeah.
But that said, that I believe is a different factor than how talkative or not talkative you are.
It could be like a symptom, like because of the way people have approached that or tried to label people as different things or recognize certain things. So I get the bastardization part of it. Like it's degrees removed from that concept, but it's at the will of how that was represented in their growing up or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's like somebody took the intro class in 101 and they think they understand at a PhD level. It's like, no. You're not wrong, but you're not right.
Yeah.
You know, like you just made this big generalization and it's not very true. Because I do believe that there are people that are introverted, so they go and gain energy by being by themselves, but they're also very talkative.
Yeah. Sure.
But are more people that are introverted that recharge by themselves, are they also a little bit more quiet?
Could be. Maybe
more often than not, but like that's a sliding scale, or that's like a pretty generalized bell curve of where people will fall on that. So so Cassie probably is just more talkative and communicative that way.
Are those rats there?
No, that is the sun warming up the
insulation. Nice.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on the podcast.
But did you guys know that we're in my garage?
Yes, this beautiful wall here is just a facade.
It's not a real one. You couldn't tell.
Most people are gonna listen to this rather than watch it, so
you don't know that.
Maybe we'll take a picture of it just so they understand
we could
what
be
the
YouTube
fuck we're
famous.
talking about.
Did you create a YouTube channel?
No, I did not create a YouTube channel.
Oh, you need to do a YouTube. We should put this on YouTube as well.
We should. Yeah. Good idea.
Conscious Guys YouTube channel. Conscious Guys Get Laid More. YouTube channel.
Eventually.
Absolutely. Just buy it.
No, Get Laid More eventually. Eventually.
That's really funny. We're playing the long game here, folks.
That's
We're
right.
playing the long game. None of this.
That's what life is about.
We don't flip houses. We do long-term investments.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
Interesting. Okay. Ooh, what did you think about? Did you watch any of the Biden inauguration?
No, I've seen snippets though.
I watched
the clothing the women were wearing. was really amazing.
Dr. Biden and
Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris.
Yeah, they're very it's very pastel-y.
It was pastel-y. It was powerful. It looked comfortable. Like
Michelle always looked good.
Yeah,
she always
got a lot of class.
Yeah, she dressed to impress,
mm-hmm.
but in a very classy way. I watched Biden's speech, and then I watched I don't know her name, the poet.
Oh, I heard that. That was incredible.
Holy cow, man, that brought me to tears. What's her name? Dang, I don't know what it is. Dang, what was the
shit?
Hey Siri.
Names.
Hey Siri, who did the poem at the Biden inauguration?
Okay, I found this on the web for who did the poem at the Biden inauguration.
Amanda Gorman.
Amanda Gorman, that's right.
Dude, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of her other stuff?
No.
Yeah, so I've seen her other stuff before, and she's just freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
She's just freaking good. Somebody that can articulate complex thoughts is amazing. Cassie can do that, right? But then when they can articulate complex thoughts and emotions and experiences in different modalities, like Cassie can do it through writing workshops, right? And then she can also facilitate that. This gal can do it through spoken word poetry, and then there's other people who can do it through like paint art, right? And whatever. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It is.
It reminds me of, so I'm reading a lot of Dr. Seuss.
Nice.
Right now.
Yeah. Top of the list.
Geisel, that's his name. That's the real Dr. Seuss's last name.
Oh, okay.
It's like Michael Geisel. Mike Geisel. He lived in San Diego, like down in Carlsbad or something like that.
I think I heard that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he would go kayaking, and where he would go kayaking, there's this big hillside that has a bunch of plants on it, some of which are succulent plants, and they look like a lot of the ideas of the Dr. Seuss, plants that have like this big weird bushy thing at the bottom, and then this huge funnel spike thing that coming out the top. Like we have, those are real plants, but in how he concocted it, it looks, fun and cartoony,
otherworldly.
Otherworldly.
Nice.
But I was reading, so I've been reading Dr. Seuss books because part of my, it's kind of like it was a habit create, the thing that we were doing with the staff.
Oh yeah, a book a day to Grace, right?
Yeah, because I'm reading a book a day, or I'm reading to Grace every day.
That's right.
And so I've been reading this Dr. Seuss thing, but then Cassie or Grace got me a book to read her, and it has Grace's name in it. Right? It's one of those ones where you can put the name in, and then it prints it for your kid, and then you can put like the front little cover that has your little message in it. And it's unfortunate because it doesn't rhyme really well. It doesn't flow really well.
Yeah. And
then, but the days before, and then I read that book, and then the days after I was reading Dr. Seuss books, and Dr. Seuss freaking nails it. The guy is like a genius at his ability to have this perfect cadence and rhyme scheme. It's Shakespearean.
Sure.
It's like the 21st century. It's the 20th century Shakespeare. Dr. Seuss.
Maybe he went back in time.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. I wonder if anybody has ever equated Dr. Seuss to Shakespeare.
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah, if you put enough monkeys in a room, they can, write Shakespeare. So I'm sure somebody came up with a thought, maybe. Unless you're looking to be unique right now, in which case I can.
That's what I was hoping.
Flip the coin and say, no, I don't think anybody's ever thought of that.
I was hoping you'd say you're probably the first one. Put me in the place. What was I saying? So yeah, the Dr. Seuss books are really good, and she's incredible. Amanda Gorman. Yeah, she's got some really good. She's kind of like Taylor Molly. You've seen the Taylor Molly slam poetry.
Yeah.
What's the difference between slam poetry and spoken word poetry?
think slam poetry requires some aggressive behavior and dramatic slamming of words and verses and stuff.
So it is spoken poetry, but it's an even narrower niche.
I think so.
Oh. So Taylor Molly doesn't do slam poetry, or he does do slam poetry.
He does.
He does, because he wants to tell you what he's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets real worked up.
That's true, he does. But it's good worked up.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was going to say something about reading every night to Grace. Oh, I read Winnie the Pooh as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like the real books, or like the golden edged.
No, the real
little
one.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah, the real Christopher Robin one.
Nice.
And it's really strange to be reading the books and remembering the story as I was reading it. Like, oh yeah, he gets his head stuck in the honey jar, and then he gets his whole body stuck in Rabbit's holes, and Rabbit uses his ass as a cabinetry or something like that. The towel rack, not cabinetry, that'd be weird. Spread them. Stick a dish in. No.
No.
It was a towel rack. It was a towel rack. But it was strange to have the experience of like, I've read this, I remember this, but 35 years ago, or 30 years ago, 33,
Shit, dude.
34.
Wow.
Yeah, which was cool. It was really interesting. It felt very, it was a good nostalgia, because it felt like, oh, I did this and now I'm going to do it with Grace.
Yeah. My dad used to read us the Hobbit series.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was 4 or 5, and he'd read to me, and yeah, I had been 5 and 6 then, because Jeff was born. But Jeff was tiny. He was born when I was 5, so he would just come in and read to us. That was the best.
Nice. My dad did that too.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So cool. I want to do that. There's a lot of things I'm going to have to read, but it feels like I have to wait for a while. I guess I could read to her right now.
Yeah.
The Hobbit,
Mm-hmm.
the whole Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But then if I read to her right now, she won't know it. Whereas
so you'll have to read it again.
Yeah. I don't like rereading things. I don't like rereading things, and I don't like rewatching things. Cassie can watch like
Same shit
favorite
over and
movies
over again.
over and over again. I think she watched the New Girl TV series like 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
She definitely watched The Good Place. I'm pretty sure 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, she could just go through a whole thing, and then 6 months later, like, I'm gonna go through it again.
Wow.
Another 6 months later, go through it again.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'd be super annoyed. Do you hear that fly?
Is that a fly?
Sounds like a fly.
Oh, cool. Okay. We were camping in Anza last weekend, and the bees there can get like swarmy because of water.
Yeah.
And there was just a couple of drops of water in the sink on the side of the trailer, and they were just swarming. And so like I filled up a dish full of water, and then set it down and let them all swarm on it, and then I carried it away. And then, but when they left that, they came back to the trailer instead of going back to the dish. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Figure this shit out.
Aren't you allergic to bees?
No.
Oh.
No.
I just figured, because you're allergic to
I'm allergic to everything except bees.
That's funny. I told you the story about the breast milk camping.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was the craziest thing. She just dumped. So we were camping in the bed of the truck. Before I had the camper. And we camped in the middle of nowhere. Oh, maybe it is a bee up there. Yeah, it's a bee. And this was when we had Bodhi, and she pumped at midnight or whatever once we landed, and then just dumped it on the side. And at 6 a.m., 6:10, and it just got so loud, and we both woke up, and we were in, like, the swarm was as big as the garage.
Wow.
Yeah. It was 20, 25 feet wide by 10, 15 feet tall, and just all around. And we had this crazy panic, like, what the hell? And just jumped out of the bed, closed the tailgate with everything that was just still in there, jumped into the cab, and sped off 100 yards down the road.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was so funny. So I saved it in my Google Maps as Bees Landing.
Nice.
Do you save all the places that you camp?
I started to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I started a long time ago, and I really like it because you get to see like
all the places, all the dots.
That's
cool.
And where you've been,
dude. You've been everywhere.
It's super cool, right? And I don't always do it, but then I've even done it like around the world. Like,
wow.
New Orleans. I didn't do it in like DC when I went for 5th grade. I didn't do it. I went to New York with my group, but I did it in Italy when I went with my family. Spain.
Oh, cool.
We went on the Camino.
Yeah.
Different places. Ireland.
Oh, nice. When did you go to Ireland?
I went to Ireland right after I graduated high school with my buddy Kyle.
Wow.
Kyle Graham, who's a freaking awesome guy. He's now a doctor.
Nice.
Dr. Graham. Yeah, he had extended family there. And I don't know if he was going, and he asked if I wanted to go, and I said yes, or if we decided. I don't remember how it came about, but we went there, and we went to Dublin, and then looped around all the way to Galway, and went to the Galway races. Nice. Had no idea what we were doing. We really wanted to bet on stuff, but like, there's so much terminology in horse betting. You have no idea. I don't have any idea how to do it.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any of that?
No, my grandpa used to work at Santa Anita, though. Apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he was one of those guys who was like. So when somebody says, "I know a guy,"
he's the guy.
That was my grandpa. So, but it was usually, to take care of somebody that's not doing something right. I don't know. There's weird stories that I've heard, but not all the stories.
Is this the Schaus side still?
No, this is my mom's side.
Oh, wow. You got a nice diverse background.
This is like the Irish mob side.
Oh, cool. So you got the Irish mob, and then you've got slave owners or
indentured servitude.
Indentured servitude.
It was north of the Mason-Dixon line. So they just same, but
same.
I don't want to split hairs, but
wow, you got a really diverse background.
I do.
You're so smart.
Maybe. My favorite story about my family was the one my dad told me about my grandma being a little baby and her baby carriage being used to smuggle in alcohol from Canada across the border to Washington during Prohibition.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my favorite story.
That's awesome. So apparently, my grandpa was kind of moved alcohol during Prohibition as well.
Nice,
like that.
That's so cool.
Really know about that side. Like that's as much as I know. If you ask me more, I would be making it up.
Yeah.
But my grandpa on my mom's side, he was super cool, old school Italian, but not in the mobby kind of way, but still he's a don. Like he would sip his glass of wine every afternoon and just sit in his chair and just watch his family. He just look at his family.
Mm-hmm.
His pinky ring, and it was super cool.
Wow.
He had a trucking business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Teamsters then? In trucking? No.
I don't know if it is.
Teamsters Union?
Oh, no. I don't know if it is. Oh, what's Teamsters Union?
Like, so the mob and the unions seem to like get along really well.
Oh.
And so like Teamsters is one of the biggest unions, and the workers and laborers unionized to make sure that they could provide for their families and things.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
No.
Right on.
No, he shipped around paint, from what I understand, like Dutch bros and stuff.
Paint, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think he had his own trucking yard. He owned the land on it.
Wow.
And then he had, I think at the max, he had like 3 or 4 trucks.
Very cool.
18-wheelers cruising around. And my grandma was apparently the dispatch for a good long time.
Wow.
He was like the accountant.
Mm-hmm.
He was an accountant for another trucking company, and then he decided to go out on his own.
Nice.
Yeah. Little business, but they made good money, I guess. Enough money to buy a house out in San Luis Obispo area.
That's really cool.
Because they were out in Fresno.
Man, getting out of Fresno, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's where my mom grew up.
Wow.
Clovis area.
I guess it could have been worse. It could have been Bakersfield.
That's true.
Or Riverside.
Right where you grew up.
909 to 951. It's cool.
Did you grow up in the same house throughout your years? Did you ever move?
No, we moved a few times. So I was born when my dad was still in college, getting his PhD at UC Riverside.
Your dad has a PhD in what?
Soil science, soil physics.
I think I knew that.
He calls himself a dirt doctor.
Dirt doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so he's getting his PhD.
He's getting his PhD, and there used to be base housing for March Air Force Base, and it got turned into family student housing for the university. And so it's just a bunch of cinder block buildings with flat roofs, and that's where I was born. Lived there till my dad graduated. I was 4 or 5 when we moved to Temple, Texas.
Temple, Texas.
Yeah.
I didn't know you lived in Texas.
Lived in Texas. We moved there just before my brother was born, so he's born in Texas.
Oh, he's a Texan.
Yeah, he's a Texan. And then we lived in one duplex, and then we moved across the alley into another duplex. And then we moved back to Riverside when I was 9, so just before 4th grade or something.
So you lived out in Texas for like 4 years?
Mm-hmm. And then we rented a house near where I was born, and then moved one more time, and then my parents have lived there ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah. Y'all?
I've really only known 2 places. I didn't even know the first place. The first place that I lived in, I think I was in Dana Point, was there for just less than a year. 10 months. So it was 0 to 10 months.
Wow.
And then I moved to my parents' now home in San Jose.
That's
good. It.
Damn, that's cool.
That's it. Just done. They found a place, and then that's it.
That's it.
Your parents were like, put a flag in the ground? No, fuck that. Let's keep moving.
Keep on trucking.
Why do you go to Texas? Because of a job?
Well, he got a PhD in soil science, and like the jobs in soil science were either work for the oil company or limited. And he had a thing about working for big oil. So
that he wanted to?
Did not want to.
But he went to Texas?
He worked for a research facility that didn't really have anything to do with oil. So like he could have done something different, but chose not to.
I figured you could have, like, if you wanted to stay in California, you could have gone up to like the Central Valley, like Fresno area, and done soil stuff for all the farms.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot about, like, they've said different reasons for why they did it and other things, and I don't know, the story changes, and I don't really remember it.
Can't trust anybody.
Probably not.
Cool.
That is cool. So what do you want to do next time?
Oh yeah, I did think about starting like a note in my phone of random things that come to mind that be like, oh, that's a good thing to talk about. That's a good thing to talk about. And we can talk about it. That's actually what came to mind when I thought about the inauguration. If you watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. So I watched. Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. I only watched that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure you've also seen the viral stuff on Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, yeah, dude. That's awesome. His mittens, those are fucking killer.
It's so funny that what goes viral. I mean,
yeah.
What? Who was the first person that thought of doing him as a cutout like that?
Right.
Like what? I don't know. You either have to be like, is it just a random person that just thought that was funny, or do you think it's like a firm, like fuck Jerry, or like whatever those other meme kind of things are that just come up with something. Like that's what they're doing. They're like looking for the thing, creating the thing. Who knows?
I have no idea.
That's what we got to do. We got to come up with something good that just like all.
I thought we decided on breast milk.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe we should come up with a lot of things.
Well, a lot of things, just in case breast milk doesn't hit.
We have so much frozen breast milk. It's crazy.
We could get started right now.
Our freezer, yes, yeah. Our freezer is stocked. We've actually talked about we need to buy another like a fridge or a freezer for the garage so we can store stuff in there.
You should. You got tons of room in here for it.
There's no room in here. No room in here unless we can put it on the ceiling or something.
That doesn't really work well.
So, well, this was a good first session.
It was. Did you finish talking about the inauguration?
I don't know if I had any points to it.
Oh,
I just watched it.
Yeah. Were you impressed? Are you impressed with this, or are you just glad that things are changing?
Impressed with this. What's this?
The new administration.
I am. I'm thinking that things politically will calm down because Biden is not an antagonist. And Trump is an antagonist. That's how he gets stuff done. He pushes and pokes people's buttons. He gets them all angry and then they get vulnerable and then he kind of pushes his agenda forward and he's brilliant at it. And you can disagree with his agenda or agree with it. Either way, he gets done what he wants to get done. Biden, I don't think that's his way of getting stuff done. I think he is much more soft-spoken and he's much more like, hey, come on, let's have a talk to Uncle Joe kind of idea. And because of that, I'm hoping, but I don't think that there will be so many flare-ups of the angry mobs and whatnot. I still think there will be. We're at that time right now. Like we're at a time and a point in our society that it looks like that that there's just this fodder of stuff coming together and there's sparks all over the place. And so things are going to get ignited. But I do believe that this administration will calm that a bit, at least comparatively. So I really like that. And then I do like the fact that there is a lot of stuff happening within the first
7 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, let's figure this pandemic out and let's cut this out and let's get these workers back and have stuff they're able to do. And so it's I found it really interesting to see how fast he put some of those things in play. And then I'm curious as to how Trump looked at what he wanted to do or what he didn't want to do in regards to like the pandemic, because that's Biden's main thing right now in these last 24 hours. Because Biden's pushing through so much and Trump didn't push through much of anything. He kind of said, from a federal level, we're not going to do much of anything here. We're going to let the states figure it out all on their own. It's not to say that there wasn't some stuff. There definitely was, but it seems like there wasn't. What Biden is doing is saying, no, the feds are going to be pushing this through. The feds are going to be leading this charge, not the states. The states look up to government here. So, yeah. What about you?
I'm tired of old white dudes running the country. Actually, I'm a little unimpressed with the choices we had in the election itself, and then
super old white dude or less old white dude.
Yeah. And what I am impressed with is some of the things that have been said. Like, I think it's also a fact because of the time and where things were comparatively. Like he has to say things and then act on them, because if he doesn't, then it's gonna show that he's not as capable or whatever else. Right. I would love to get over my doubt in politicians in general, but I think that there's a lot of lip service and there's a lot of claiming that there's going to be healing going on, but I don't think that the healing can happen without all voices at the table, and I don't think all voices are at the table yet.
Well, I think what's interesting in what you said, like true, at the very top is an old white person, an old white guy specifically. But have you noticed everyone that he's putting around him?
Yeah.
Like he is aiming for diversity.
Yeah.
He's going over I'd say that he is putting diversity on par, if not even just below merit. And that said, I don't know all the positions and who he's putting in, so their merit could be right there. But there's a definite. I'm looking for African Americans.
It's clear.
I'm looking for a gay person. I'm looking for a lesbian person. I'm looking for a transgender person. I'm looking for an Indian person. I'm looking for a Cuban person, and I'm looking for like he is. Yeah. Like I have this idea in my mind that he's got all the ethnicities and all the sexual orientations as like one of
on a checklist.
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, what are all the positions?
Yeah.
Got it. We got the African American. Okay, great. Like, where's the Filipino? Do we have the Filipino yet? Dink. Okay, we got the Filipino yet. Which I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea. But it definitely has this. Like, there is a very overt. I am pushing through on this idea of equality.
It would be really cool to see that takes shape and takes form and stays that way for 4 years, and actually Biden himself becomes the token old white guy in the executive
branch.
Like
the only one token old white guy. That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. Do you think he's going to be like what people are saying as a transitional president? Like he won't get anything done, but he's going to hopefully foster the next generation in? Or do you think that he's actually going to be able to push through some pretty
if he can't change things with the Senate and the House the way it is, then he's just a lame duck, like a lot of other lame ducks. But the way he's gone after things, like all the things that he's signed back into law, getting Paris Accords, the nixing the permit for the Keystone Pipeline, like a bunch of things that have been on people's mind and upset about. He's got a clear agenda and he's going for it.
He's acted on it within 24 hours.
So I'm sure he could go really, really fast and maybe, be done in 2 minutes like most of us, but okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
I don't think the people he's putting around him are going to allow that to happen, though. Just like you said, with that kind of diversity in the cabinet and the executive branch and having that shared perspective, there's no way that things aren't going to change.
Yeah. What do you think the stock market's going to do?
I think the stock market. Fucking stock market. I think there's two big factors with the stock market. One is how the banks and the interest rates are going to be run and handled, and which I haven't heard a whole lot about yet. But I'm assuming they're going to try and keep interest rates low again, which is just going to drive inflation, which I think is stupid. But the other thing is going to be how the pandemic begins to. How the handling of the pandemic changes, because with the way that Newsom's done California and the way people have done in their other states, there is a lot of fear-based thinking and lockdown mentality, and I don't think that's. I think that's an extreme that we can move away from, but with consideration of the reality of what's going on with the pandemic,
right,
and couple it with how we want to bolster the economy, because just giving people money isn't going to cut it.
Right.
People need jobs. We need businesses. We need something. I have no idea how to fix it, but the way things have gone haven't worked. So any change is probably better than nothing.
Yeah. It's crazy that we've passed 400,000 deaths just in the U.S.
And he's predicting by the end of the month, we're going to be over 500.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you remember back in, gosh, it was probably like May of last year when they first came out with their prediction of it could be 250 to 450? I don't know. I remember looking at that like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. We're going to get to that. And now that we went from 300 to 400 in a month or something like that.
Yeah.
And it almost, in some respect, it doesn't faze me like I think it should faze me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said this in one of my conscious leadership circles. There's a Stalin quote of something along the lines of 1 death is a tragedy and 1 million is just a statistic.
Mm-hmm.
That is so accurate.
Yeah.
Right? It's so accurate.
Yeah.
That you look at one person dying and it's like it's a tragedy, and then and it's horrific and it's traumatic, and then but once you get to 400,000, it's just a statistic. It's going to be 410 soon. It's not already 410 by today. Then it's going to be 420. Then it's going to be 430.
Yeah.
And you don't think of the individual death.
Yeah, I think I had a similar experience, even though I want to admit how heart-wrenching 400,000 people is, and to have it climb, like it doubled in the last couple of months.
Right.
It's fucked up.
Right.
But then knowing somebody who's died now, that kills me. And it is just incredibly sad to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it is, like I had it at a safe distance. Like I'm a little freaked out. I don't want to get it. I'm a little higher risk than some people. And now I'm like, I know somebody who fucking died. God damn it.
Yeah.
It could happen to anybody I know. And I'm even more freaked out when I go there, but I also have this, I have this calmed place I can go to be calm and centered about it, and know that there's action to take. There's things to keep moving, because the fear isn't going to change anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's only going to show me what I care about.
So then what is this, as you had one person that you know die, and that's as you relook at it and the fear has come back up, or even as it came back up once we went to 400, what is that showing you that you're valuing?
Showing me that I'm valuing. Ask your question a different way, because that's.
Well, what I heard you say, if I understood correctly, is that I don't want the fear to just be. I don't want to be run by the fear. The fear is going to
show me what I care about.
Show me what I care about. It's going to expose something about me, because the fear is only the stepping stone to something deeper.
Mm-hmm.
The fear is not the end all. If you let the fear be the end all, then it's like, oh, you're fucked. You're just walking around scared all the time. But the fear is exposing something that you feel about, and I'm assuming it's about people. It's about you.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah. So I think I'm going a little too far or too complicated with it, but I definitely care about people more than I often admit to myself. And I care that, like, I used to have this thought that, people didn't need to die. But I don't know that that's true.
Mm.
Like, we're born to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cycle of life.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't control everything that could potentially cause or create a situation where somebody dies in a time when we're not ready for it. What this death from COVID of this person that I know does for me is it shows that death is, again, out of my control. It's out of my control to have this person still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
But what is, it's not even what is in my control. It's what I have to now contemplate is, what's a deeper truth that I want to believe in about life and death, about the situation, about historically I would just blame somebody, something. I would blame COVID. That's an easy one. I would blame the care that this person got. It wasn't enough. It didn't do it. But none of those, I have none of the details, and analyzing that would be meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
So what is meaningful? That I cared about this person and I'm going to miss them. And I would like to support whatever efforts we can do to prevent something like a loss that's unnecessary from happening. And it's so vague and doesn't mean much, because who's going to judge what an unnecessary death is?
Yeah. How do you, what's the merits on that?
Right.
Or the metrics on that? Yeah. So then, does that leave you feeling clearer and
it leaves me
solid?
Feeling like I'm on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been like
on the edge of a cliff?
On the edge of a cliff or the diving board, and like part of you really wants to jump and part of you just wants to stay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now.
Is that better than fear? Because that's scary.
It's way better than the fear.
Okay.
Because it reminds me of the time I bungee jumped, and it was one of the scariest things I've ever done.
Where'd you do it?
New Zealand, the bottom of a bridge. Boats go underneath the bridge, and you have to time it just right to not fall on a mast, right?
Jesus.
And so the dude there is tatted up, fucking punctures all over his face with rings and barbells and funky shit. I think he had a split down his tongue, so he looked like a fucking lizard.
Whoa.
Fucking cool ass guy.
Whoa.
So I'm standing there. I'm the heaviest person. Everybody else that's jumping that day is a girl, right? And so I go first. And I am so freaked out. I'm standing on the edge, and the guy's like, okay, ready?
And you don't like heights.
I don't like heights.
Oh my God, you are crazy.
He's like, 3, 2, 1, bungee. And I'm like, no. And he's like, all right, so we got to wait now because there's a boat.
Holy cow.
And so I got to stand there with this shit tied around my ankles and try not to fall, right? And try again. 7 times the guy counted me down.
Oh my gosh.
I think I was there for like 25 minutes.
Did you piss your pants?
Standing on the edge. No, I did not.
Did you shit your pants?
I did not. I had the best time of my life.
At what point?
The moment I jumped off.
Oh.
The moment I said, fuck it, and just went, and I was falling. And it was like, oh, I can scream. And I'm like, whoa! And I went back up, and I'm like, as I was falling the first time, I'm like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and then it's going to shoot me back up a little bit, and then I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Whoa.
It like instant, I don't know how many seconds it was, but it was just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I got reeled back in. Right. So, oh man, it was so thrilling. And I gave all the girls there, the advice, like, just fucking go. Just fucking go. Don't think about it. Just go. I promise.
Whoa.
It's not as bad as I made it sound, and you'll love it.
Do you get whiplash?
No.
It always looks like everyone gets freaking gnarly whiplash. Just this, and then even at the top again. No, really?
No, it was really cool.
Nice. Okay, so you feel like that up on the platform, when you think about this fear of this death from COVID and all the people that are dying, if you take it a step further and it shows you some of your values around what you care about.
Yeah.
And what you care about is what again?
Unnecessary death. I care about people. I care about my understanding what's in my hands and what's out of my hands to control.
Yeah.
And then what I'm realizing is there is something that I can reference as unnecessary death. And then if I don't know, like it's tied in with my knowing, but I'm not sure how to dismantle that yet. But unnecessary, like here's a really strange example. Like I could reach across and break your neck right now, and that would be an unnecessary death to me. Like, I want you in my life. This is not an option, right? So that would be completely unnecessary.
Yes.
But like,
agreed.
But like, you could go in your car potentially and get in an accident and pass, and I would be super sad.
Right.
But there would have been nothing to do to prevent that. So the necessity of it isn't even in play. It's neither necessary nor unnecessary.
So then is there ever a necessary death?
All death is necessary.
So then is there ever any unnecessary death?
I think so. Like when I try and control something, right? If I was going to murder somebody and kill them, like that would be unnecessary, because now I'm trying to control something that isn't mine to have or control.
So if another human infringes on somebody else's life, that's unnecessary and that's not good.
Potentially. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. You're standing on the platform on this question.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you to jump down twice.
Oh, okay.
No, not that you have to do that. That's just not because I asked you already. So
okay.
Yeah. Okay, got it. You're still figuring it out. That's cool.
Yeah, so.
Interesting. Very interesting. I can tell you that this pandemic and but I think this is more of a continuation of what I really started to learn and get clear on with Bodhi's passing. But this pandemic is essentially a reaffirmation of that, I guess you could say, which is that I value my nuclear family, which was just Cassie. Now it's Cassie Grace. No, it's Cassie Grace and Winston, really. Above everything else. Above everything else. It could all go to shit. We could lose it all. If people died, I would obviously be devastated. But if Cassie and Grace and I made it through, that's what matters.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I've got like some things about that around like emergency situations, like the end of the world or an apocalyptic event or a huge earthquake. Like there are people I would go get and gather and then we would move on together. Like, you're on that list.
Yes.
So, but like I talk about that in therapy. Like I catastrophize things to a certain point and then I have a little plan and I feel better about it.
Right.
I don't get to do that here because this is everybody. The pandemic is the entire world, right? And so it's challenging to me. And I think what I'm coming to, even through this conversation, is people are going to die and it's going to be okay. But what I do for myself, for the people I care about, how I choose to wear a mask, not wear a mask, do social distancing, create a safe environment for those who may be higher at risk. I think it's all through conversation and figuring it out. And where I get stuck is there's just, where am I stuck? There's truth about the spreading of this disease that I don't think is really controllable.
Yep.
And people have done it. Would we be better off that way? I don't know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, so go back to your statement about you're realizing as you speak this out, you have a value. So you had a value, and the stuff that you worked on with your therapist was to create plans for all the catastrophizing that your mind comes up with. And that calms you down some. Did I understand that correctly?
I kind of do that naturally.
Oh, okay. So
I was just sharing it in therapy, but that's what I do.
So don't give credit to your therapist. Give credit to yourself.
It's mine.
Okay, good. Got it. So you do that.
Don't hurt my ego.
Which is helping you see what about your feelings about the rest of the world and their experience of the pandemic. I lost you on that part.
Oh, I don't have any control over it at all. But I guess I don't understand what the value is that you're starting to, that's becoming. So like when I spoke about my feelings of my nuclear family is everything, I don't have the same ideas that you have. Like if the fucking tsunami is coming and we've got 30 minutes, my mind doesn't go to, oh shit, go grab my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece and nephew, or go grab my parents. My mind goes to grab Cassie, Winston, and Grace, go stick the camper on the truck and get the fuck out of Dodge because everything's going to be underwater, something like that, right? Like, I just think about this little group. When you talked about like, I'm on your list of people to go save when the tsunami comes or the whatever comes, I had this first thought of like, damn, I want to be like that. I want to be like the hero that goes and saves a bunch of friends and family, instead of like, now I'm on this little island just with Cassie and I have all these dead people around me. Well, I think it also speaks to my need, my hero complex, right? I have that anyway. And then it speaks to what I'm working on this year, which is needing people to be different than they are. Like people are responsible for themselves. They have their choices to make and their things to do. And I tend to, wow, that's just really enlightening the way you shared that, reflected that back to me. Fuck, I still got shit to work on.
Well, what part?
Like the part of going around, like you're on my list. So like, what would that look like? And why would you not be able to take care of yourself?
Oh, because your first default way of thinking about it is to think that because I can't take care of myself, I've got to go save them.
I don't know that that's the real thought. It's more, but I can, like the thought that you could take care of yourself didn't come into my mind.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. So you go immediately to, it doesn't come into my mind.
It just doesn't come
which
into
is
my
another
mind.
way of like, they're not going to do it.
Right.
So you've got to take care of it.
Yeah.
And I go to, you didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
Not that you couldn't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't even cross
your mind. Yeah.
Like if the tsunami's coming, sorry to say, dude, you're not on my mind.
Yeah. I get it.
Winston and Cassie and Grace are.
Yeah. That's how it should be. That's good.
Is that how it should be?
Why not?
I don't know. But if I had those three on my mind and then I'm like, hey, where's Andy? And then I call you up and you're like, oh shit, my tire's flat and I had to go save you. But I don't even think of that. I'd be like on the freeway just flying out of here.
Yeah. I love getting to know you, dude.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. I like getting to know you as well. Yeah. Good first podcast?
Really good podcast.
Cool.
I hope somebody else likes it.
I think we should come up with a slogan.
Yeah.
And then we like sign off with that. Oh, I already thought of how to describe it.
Oh, cool.
Like in the podcast, you can see a little description, or like in the YouTube channel, you can see a little description.
Okay.
It'll be like, this is the one where, and there's ... And then we could essentially like do like Lyndon they talk about Pooh Bear and teeth and tongues and Biden and this, and we'll just like list it off.
List it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think we should do.
That sounds great.
All right. Enter slogan here. Nice. Bye, everyone. Hope you get laid more.
Me too.